Coming up on this episode.
Who needs a HOTAS anyway, eh? Let's give this a go. Oh, bugger.
Hello again, Wingman. This is the Pimax Hand Tracking module, which attaches to the headset using two M2x7 screws. Inside is an Ultraleap IR170 module that exhibits two cameras and two infrared LEDs for scene illumination. It connects to the headset via a USB-C connection that passes through the headset to your PC's motherboard. The module fits onto the bottom of compatible Pimax headsets. An affiliate link for the module can be found in the description below. The darkness of the mouse cave hides a number of headsets. The head tracking module is compatible with the Crystal and the 8K Plus and 8KX. Setup is relatively straightforward. Google Ultraleap and Gemini, and you'll be brought to the Gemini software website. Scroll down to the download link, select SIR170, then Windows, and download now. At this point, you may need to log in or set up an account, which is free. Open the downloaded install file and install in the default location. Once installed, turn on the Crystal and check that the Ultraleap service is started by checking the sys tray and ensuring that the service is tracking. The position of your knuckles and joints are calculated in real time and the information passed to the OpenXR layer. Both hands are tracked independently and the system is capable of predicting with a large measure of success where your fingertips are located in 3D space, even if you try to make things difficult for it. However, if your fingers are obscured from the camera behind your own hand, then the system needs to assume what your fingers are doing, and this can lead to odd behaviors, such as disjointed or snapped digits. The best solution to this is to position your hand such that your fingers are generally always in view, and it helps to become a little more holy. Also, due to the position of the cameras not being aligned with the position of your eyes, there is a geometric mismatch between the calculated position of your hands and the actual position of your hands in OpenXR. The cameras are located around 60mm below and 60mm forwards of your eyes and point downwards at a 15-degree angle. To correct for this, download the zipped archive from the Ultraleap correction file from the link below and copy the contained JSON file into C, Program Files, Ultraleap, OpenXR folder. That's it, problem solved. The file contains code that instructs the hand position algorithm of the corrections necessary to align the calculated position of your hands with the actual real-world position of your hands, including correcting for the 15-degree camera tilt. In Pimax XR, remember to enable hand tracking. Now we're ready to go into DCS. I have a 1:1 scale main panel for the FA18C mounted to my sim pit, with the location of the buttons and dials set relative to the joystick, pedals, throttle and seat precisely. If you'd like to know how to get these dimensions for yourself, please watch until the end of the video. The image on the screen right now is a 2880 by 2880 pixel image that is being sent to my right eye. I have set up a programmable USB keyboard on the side of my seat so that I can reset the VR view using a keybind. I will zoom and crop the center of this OpenXR display so you can better see what is going on. We're going to hop into the F18 so I can show you how to align your virtual hands with the real-world buttons. Firstly, we need to go into the options menu and remember to set the world scale, called IPD in the VR tab, close to your own IPD. I find that 64mm works well for me. If the VR tab is blank, simply click another tab and then back onto the VR tab. In Use Hand Controllers, select Ultraleap. Ensure that Hand Controllers Use Cockpit Stick and Hand Controllers Use Cockpit Throttle are both unchecked. Set No Pointers or Touch under Use Pointer and Touch. Now, reach forward with your real left hand and place your left index finger on the 5 button of the UFC. If your hand disappears deep into the UFC, then you can use the positional sliders in the VR tab to move your hand until you can see your index fingertip emerge from the UFC. Once done, recenter your VR tab repeatedly while moving your head around slightly until your virtual index finger also rests perfectly on the 5 button of the upfront controller. You may need to play with the positional sliders a little to get this position for your finger correct, with your head lined up with the HUD reticle too. This is necessary due to the probable seat position or height mismatch between your SimPit and DCS's F-18 seat position model. Remember, in the real aircraft, there are adjustable buttons to move the seat forward, up, down, forward and aft. The very first time you do this, you may need to play a little, however the slider values will remain true between sessions. Once you are happy with the position, you can try pressing other real-world buttons. If your finger misses, and you're confident that you built your pit exactly as per the F-18C's cockpit dimensions, then try modifying the world scale, or IPD, within the VR tab 0.5 millimeter each way to refine your virtual world scale to your real world scale. Note that you can use both hands independently without issues, and once set up for the first time, you will only need to perform the index finger on 5 alignment maneuver whenever you start a new DCS session without having to play with the sliders. One important note is that to get the OpenXR geometric calibration file to activate, you have to go into the options menu and click VR, then another tab, and then back to the VR tab again to apply the correction. This appears to be a DCS issue rather than an Ultraleap problem. Properly aligned virtual hands makes weapon and waypoint setups and inputs really easy. The setup for the F-16 is almost identical to the F-18. I have a removable side stick mount and have only recently started mounting the F-16 panels. The ICP comes quite a long ways forwards towards your face, but everything still works just as with the F-18. Hopping into the F-16, we can see that the concept behind setup is the same for any SimPit you may have. Here, I'm indexing the 5 button on the ICP and using the VR view reset to make my virtual finger rest on the real world 5 button. Okay, good time to get distracted. Everything just works and it feels completely natural having the haptic feedback from your thumb and fingers. In the F-16 in particular, I find myself tilting my head to either side of the ICP to ensure that both tracking cameras are able to see my hands, otherwise they'll wink out of existence. However, the positional prediction algorithm appears to do a good job. Another tip is to either use voice attack or bind a HOTAS button to the Show Hide Hands option in the Controls UI menu. That way you can always hide your hands or re-show them whenever you want to use your mouse instead. I do use lighthouse tracking for the Crystal and have found that I can whip my head around in a dogfight and still find my fingers aligned perfectly afterwards. Now, with no panels in front of me at all, I'll show you what the system does when you turn on touch in the Spitfire. I have nothing in front of me that my hands can collide with. In the Options VR menu, we'll change No Pointers or Touch to just No Pointers. Now we should be able to interact with the virtual buttons. Well, the radio works. How about fuel levels? Other dials work to some extent, but can be a bit fiddly to be precise. You have to play with your finger positioning to get some switches to work correctly. Other levers require a grip or hold gesture to get to work, which I haven't set up yet. To use the joysticks and throttle, you need to enable that functionality in the VR menu. Check hand controllers for both use cockpit stick and throttle. Oh dear, my wrist appears to have snapped. I believe this is also an Eagle Dynamics thing going on here with the Spitfire. It's a little known fact that every Englishman is born with the ability to fly a Spitfire. Okay, let's do this. Oh bugger. Well, like I said before, if the cameras cannot see your hands, then you lose all control. Imagine looking left over the wing for your turn on to final, and your hands just wink out of existence. I would not recommend this system as a HOTAS replacement for that reason alone. Now here's how to get accurate dimensions for your DCS cockpits. In the bin MT folder of your DCS installation, you'll find modelviewer2.exe. Cockpit models are located within the DCS installation under Mods, Aircraft, then whatever aircraft you want to look at, and then Cockpit, Shape, and the EDM file for the cockpit is within that folder. Once loaded, you can click Back View, and then move the camera forwards through the back of the cockpit, the seat, the pilot's helmet, through the head, until the camera is located directly in front of the HUD. Then choose Camera and Orthographic Mode. Now you can move the camera around and the world is represented in a flattened 2D view. The cursor contains three numbers, X, Y and Z. X is in the plane running from the front of the aircraft to the back, Y is up and down, and Z is from port to starboard. In this view, X remains unchanged as we're on that plane. You can take the positions of various points and use basic arithmetic to work out the distances between the points you're interested in. You can then switch to left view and do the same to get critical positions such as the pedals, the panels, the joystick location, and the base of the seat, such that you can replicate these dimensions in your own SimPit. I hope you found this video useful. Until next time, Wingman.